Thank you very much for joining us. Well, Labor Day, the holiday commemorating the American labor movement, is behind us, but the issues facing organized labor and workers in general are very much front and center throughout this election season. So here to discuss some of those with us is Chrissy Lynch, elected last fall as president of the Massachusetts AFL-CIO. Madam President, happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day, John. Thank you for having me.
So is it really a happy Labor Day for the Mass AFL-CIO? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 12.6% of workers here are unionized. That's above the national average of 10%, but a full percent lower than a decade ago and well below places like New York, where it's 20%, and a bunch of other states. So what's up with that?
Well, you know, Labor Day is a day to celebrate the contributions and the sacrifices that workers over the centuries have made, often with their lives and their limbs, for the basic protections that we have today that unfortunately we too often take for granted, like the 8-hour workday, minimum wage, occupational safety and health laws. It's also a day to recommit to the work ahead, to create an economy that truly works for working people. And I think that by and large, Americans see unions as part of how we do that. And we think that the best way to create an economy that works for working people is to get more people into unions. Union members make better wages, they have safer workplaces, they're more likely to have health insurance, we have top-notch training programs, and when unions are strong, the middle class is strong. And when the middle class is strong, America is strong.
Talking to your predecessor over the years, and we're delighted to have you here, looking forward to you being a regular visitor here. He suggested that with the rise of the gig economy and younger workers were more interested in organizing than perhaps their older counterparts had been, that I thought that percentage would have grown by now rather than shrunk over the decade. How do you account for it?
Well, it's really hard to organize a union, and you're right, the popularity of unions is at an all-time high, particularly among people under 35. This is why one of our top federal priorities is passing the PRO Act, because right now it is really hard to join a union. The rules really are rigged against regular working people, and corporations have figured out how to make it impossible for workers who want to join a union to join one.
Explain what the PRO Act is.
The PRO Act would really level the playing field. It's federal labor law reform to ensure that workers have a fairer shot at a democratic process to decide whether or not to join a union.
Now, up on Beacon Hill, the session ended at the end of July with a lot of stuff undone, including some of the Mass AFL-CIO's top priorities, economic development, environmental legislation. You, in a statement, called on the lawmakers to return in a special session to get this stuff done. Hasn't happened yet. What's your message to them today?
Look, I think that the legislature, most lawmakers, I think all lawmakers get into public service because they want to help they want to help people, they want to give back, they want to be public servants. And we were able to get some good stuff done this session. One of the biggest and most recent wins we had was legislation to remove toxic chemicals from fire gear. We now have the strongest law in the nation. We're really grateful to our lawmakers for that and to Governor Healy for quickly signing it. To your point, there is some other really important legislation in the red zone, so to speak. And I guess in honor of the first week of the NFL, we are very hopeful that those bills will get to the end zone, the governor's desk, you know, this fall, because they are important, and we're eager to see them get done.
Maybe you need Drake May to carry the bills the rest of the way.
I think Jacoby Brissett is in for the first couple weeks at least. But
I can see you're a legit football fan.
I am a very big football fan. I'm very excited for tonight.
Okay, all right, very good. Chrissy, when Shawn Fain, the head of the United Auto Workers, ripped off his shirt during his Democratic National Convention speech, and he was wearing a T-shirt that said, "Trump is a scab," that was a memorable moment. What went through your mind during the Republican National Convention when Sean O'Brien, the head of the Teamsters, spoke to the crowd and indicated that, as far as he was concerned, they're keeping an open mind about who to support in the fall?
Look, I was there when Sean Fain did that in Chicago. You know, the energy in Chicago, the pro-union, pro-worker energy out there was palpable. And I think the Democrats understand that the road to the White House goes through union halls, and that working people really are the backbone of the middle class and the Democratic Party. And I'm so happy to see the Democratic Party really centering equity in the issues that impact working people. I thought that Sean O'Brien's speech to the Republican National Convention was spot on. I think it was to a party that largely is part of the problems that he described, as far as the unchecked corporate power, the concentration of wealth, the economy that makes it impossible for working people to get ahead no matter how hard they work. The American dream is still out of reach for too many people. Those are largely based on policies that come out of the Republican National Committee. But, you know, each union has its own process to determine where to be in an election, and I'm really proud of the AFL-CIO nationally for unanimously and quickly endorsing Kamala Harris for president.
Well, so what's your message to your own members who are Trump supporters?
I would ask them to please look at the issues, because that's what we do. We don't look at the personalities. We look at where do you stand. Mm-hmm. And issue after issue, Donald Trump has a playbook to sow working class division, to keep us fighting with each other over the crumbs. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, throughout their time in public office, have consistently stood with working people, have consistently fought for and effectively passed laws to actually help working people, to grow the middle class. And it's very clear to me and to many of our leaders, when you look at the issues, who is with working people and who pays working people lip service. And Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are very clearly the people who stand, the ticket that stands with working people. For you and the AFL-CIO, what's priority number one on the Massachusetts ballot this fall? It's electing Tim Walz, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Okay, I meant the ballot questions. The ballot questions, we are all in for yes on question 2. We have been hearing... That is, let me just explain, that would remove the high-stakes aspect of the MCAS test. Exactly. And requiring that someone pass it before they're allowed to graduate. Yes, it would remove the graduation requirement. And look, we have been hearing year after year, we hear from our educator members and unions that high-stakes testing is bad for classrooms. And look, these classrooms are the working conditions of our educators, and they're the learning conditions of our kids. These are my kids. I've got 2 kids in public schools. This is very personal to me. And when teachers see that students are struggling to learn the basics because they are stressing out, they are teaching to a test, that's not good for classrooms, that's not good for kids. Let's remove the high-stakes nature of testing, but still have a metric, and that's what this ballot question would do. There's so much for us to talk about, so little time. However, as I said before, hopefully this is just the first of many visits. Yes, absolutely. I'd love to come back. The red carpet is out. Thank you very much for being here.